We're going to talk to Fritz out of Florida. Fritz says there's a case to be made that a God could exist. Yeah, make the case. Make the case, Fritz.
Hey guys, how are you guys doing?
Right.
Not too shabby.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, but didn't the call screener say not to ask that question?
Okay, great. So I wasn't sure. Say yes. So
Okay.
I have a lot of jumbled thoughts, and and I want to talk about how I have, I'm African American, so I'm going to use the word beef with both sides of the argument.
I use beef.
And then I'm going to, I have beef with both. Yeah,
Okay.
I have.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I've been waiting for a while, so I was drinking a little bit, so I'm trying to get my thoughts together now that I'm on. But yes, so I know that a lot of people are holding. I was holding for 40 minutes, so I'm gonna continue. So the first beef that I have is not with atheists, because I'm an agnostic, because I just don't understand my existence as a whole. Okay, so people that are religious, I have a huge beef with these people because they are typically following the normal, I don't understand, therefore there's a God thing that exists that created and designed everything. I completely reject this kind of ideology with the books, the millions of books, denominations, and all those things. I reject them. They make no sense. They're human constructs that we created because we're intelligent beings. And I'm saying this, we're intelligent beings on purpose, because the intelligent being part is where I come into trouble with the people that are completely atheists and don't even want to maybe contemplate the idea that there is something out there that might be in the works.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there, Fritz, real quick. I don't know about Shannon, and Shannon's going to speak for herself, obviously, shortly, but I'm going to say I don't categorically reject the possibility that any God could possibly exist. I don't do that because I'm not arrogant like some people who would say that they can see through all of time and all of space and all dimensions and all spectrums, and they can comprehend things. I'm a limited person. Okay, I've only got so much smarts in this old melon of mine, but I have not experienced yet that there is enough information to believe that a God exists. I don't buy it, and that's it. That's as far as it goes. A God could exist, but I'm not persuaded. Okay,
I'm
so
with you. I am.
Okay,
I
great.
am with
Well,
you.
let's hear from Shannon. Let's hear from Shannon. Okay, Shannon, are you an anti-theist? I don't even know.
I am a hard-A atheist. I'm not saying no, it's absolutely impossible. There's no way ever. Like, it would be, like you said, it would be arrogant of me because there could be things that I don't know.
Yeah.
But based on everything that I currently know and every definition of God that I've been presented with or am aware of, I don't even think it's possible for God to exist. So I am more of a hard-A atheist. So I am the people you're annoyed with more so than Johnny, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to put any money on it whatsoever, but yeah.
I am annoying.
I'm actually not annoyed with either one of you, to be honest with you. I am only annoyed on, mostly we can talk about, well, let's just say what the definition of the God thing that we as humans invent in order to try to explain the unknown, right? We have several callers that talk about energy. If it's eternal, it probably is, based on, the first law of thermodynamics. But then when you start thinking about, okay, something probably creating energy, then it just gets to this kind of, infinite regression kind of thinking that John Caller was talking about. But for me, I get to a point where I start to realize that I am thinking about this actual thought, and this thought that we as humans really can't really measure, other than the things we can attach to our brains and measure that we are thinking about something. And there's the electromagnetic that happens that we can measure, and actually to a point where we can actually train machines to measure our brain waves to make those things do things that our brain measure. But at the end of the day, the actual thought of self-existence as something that we are all experiencing, where we're like, holy shit, we're here. And holy shit, we are observing this huge universe that is ever expanding. And then, like, how do we get to the point where cells, evolution, get to the point where us as
Okay, I think I get your
even
point,
have these
Fritz. So, Fritz, I'm so sorry to interrupt
Okay.
you, but I think like at this point in time, I get your
that's fine.
point.
That's fine. That's
You're-
fine. Go ahead.
What I'm hearing from you is you're saying there are things that we don't seem to know and don't seem to be able to explain, right? So like the
Exactly.
hard problem of consciousness is one of them. How life began, how the universe began. So those are the big three, right? That people tend to talk about. People tend to hang their God hat on those three:
Oh
consciousness,
my God, yes.
abiogenesis, how the universe began. We can't definitively answer those three. Therefore, God in most cases. And you're saying, well, not therefore God, but therefore I can't eliminate God because I don't know the answer. So maybe God is in there somewhere. Is that what I'm hearing you say? And you don't like it when atheists say, "Nah, no, we can't be." Like
Yes.
categorically.
Like maybe we're all gods. Maybe we're the gods that God invented. Maybe.
God, I hope not.
talking a little-
Jesus.
Yeah.
That sounds like
Yeah.
Mormonism to me. That is Mormonism as fuck. That's what that is. But like, I don't think that like I don't think it's a great idea because here's why, right? The content of that to me is nothing. The content of that to me is nothing. So saying, well, that could be where God is. So we should at least open ourselves up to that possibility. Doesn't add any information to the body of knowledge about those three problems. It adds 0.000000000 infinite 0% knowledge to those to the study of those propositions. The only thing that adds knowledge to the study of those propositions is the actual physical material study of those propositions. That is what I'm interested in. I'm happy and content to say that I do not know the answers to those questions. I'm not arrogant enough to say that I can even come close to it. The one about consciousness is the one I feel like I probably know the most about, having studied neuroscience. But even so, like, where would I'd have a Nobel Prize hanging around my neck right now if I knew the answer to the hard problem of consciousness, right? I don't. I do not.
Just go around
Nobody
wearing
does.
it.
So I don't like it doesn't there's so much else that tells me like intellectually that I don't believe that a God is possible. I don't think it's arrogant of me to say I don't think it's possible there either, simply because I don't know the answer to it. Like nothing of the evidence that I've looked at points towards it. You think it would
Yeah.
if that was the only place God had left to hide. You think he'd like sprinkle some hey, I'm over here evidence for us to have a look at. But I think quite the contrary is true, especially when we look at consciousness. Knowing what I know about the brain, I'm like, I don't even know, like the soul doesn't even make any sense as a concept.
Mm-mm.
Once you study
neither.
neuroscience, I don't know as much about
I agree with that.
abiogenesis, but it seems like that makes sense. And lots of people who are physicists who studied the beginning of our known universe don't seem to find a problem with it either. I'm not having an existential crisis about it, and I don't need it because what does it tell me about those three really, really interesting things? It tells me sweet the fuck all about them. That's what it tells me. I don't need it.
Yeah,
then
Fritz,
the-
I'd be cautious about saying that Fritz is a delay. I would be cautious about saying that something is possible, is a possible explanation, or God is possible, because you are saying that you're saying something about the universe. You're making an affirmative statement about the universe. I can't even say if a God is possible. I can't go that far because it may very well be that it's impossible. So rather than say it's possible that a God exists in some form, I just say I don't know. And it's not necessarily a terrible place to be, but it's not the most comfortable place to be. It's not it's not a reassuring place to be. Let me put it that way. There's a lot of uncertainty, and we live with so much uncertainty in our lives, and this is kind of a big one. So I don't think we're all really that far off.
No, we're not.
You and I.
As a matter of fact, the only thing I want to add to this is because I don't disagree with anything that both you, Shannon, or Johnny has said. Because I'm one of those people like you. I want to see the evidence. I want to see.
Yeah.
Okay, show me this. But the only thing that I will say is that I think we have evolved us as this current existence, which it's like the universe is trying to figure itself out, because like we're making these observations, we're having these thoughts between you and I and humans in general, where we're like having these hardcore thoughts about, well, we're like 12.5 billion old. Earth is about 4 billion old. Like, obviously, Earth is very young. And then us as human beings that have evolved to the point where we can have these thoughts, it's like, is there something going on where the universe is probably trying to figure itself out? But at the end of the day, the only point I want to make at this is that, at the end of the day, we should all, as human beings, enjoy the current version of the existence that we all have and not waste a billion times. I'm not using the word a billion, but most of our lives trying to figure out that, you know what, there's a God that created this, and that this is why we should base this little 80 years, which is like almost nothing. It's almost non-existent, but we all know that it's an existence because we are here having this discussion. And so that's where I wanted to just drop this in the chat with all of the people that are firm on Bibles and all of these human constructs that have been created because we just don't understand. At the end of the day, we just don't understand like why we're even here discussing this.
Gotcha, Fritz. All right, I'm getting off the ride, Fritz. Thank you for calling. I appreciate that, and I think I'm with you. We have only got so much life to live, just like we only have so much show to have. Why spend it trying to do that? Well, folks who believe that there is an eternity and that if their behavior in this limited life will determine their eternity, they have a good reason to do that. For the rest of us, the reason why we do what we do is because we believe that we only have this. We only have this life to live, and we want to make it as good and as loving and comfortable and just as we possibly can in the short amount of time that's available to us. But I do appreciate you calling, Fritz. Not sure that there was too much disagreement, but except for the fact that I still don't think that there's sufficient reason to believe in the existence of a God.